I saw this from Gil Duran, a San Francisco-based journalist. A lot of shenanigans out there in San Francisco. We need journalists out there. He posts this announcement tomorrow in San Francisco. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. People who brought you Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, and the Peter Thiel Alumni Association present Reboot 2024.
Oh,
A conference about how San Francisco tech and the far right, this is Gil Duran, who's not a right-wing person, and the far right are collaborating to reshape the government in their favor. But the release is just unbelievable here. The new reality is here. It starts. It's just not evenly distributed. Now, I hate to pause immediately,
mm-hmm.
Because I know people get annoyed at stuff like that, but that's a quote from that. Well, that's a plagiarism of a quote by a guy named William Gibson. He wrote a novel called Neuromancer. The quote is, I'll put this up here. It'd be kind of awkward. Yeah. This is very stark. The future is already here. It's just not very evenly distributed, which is about. And I've read, his essays, distrust that particular flavor, inequality. Rich people have access to things that make them live forever, or relatively speaking. I mean, look at all our political class.
Wait, are you going to say that the Silicon Valley nerds are way too literal minded to understand a quote?
Well, or it's this thing about sociopaths plagiarizing. They just cannot come up with their own ideas at all. So it's just right off the bat, we're going to start with what's a kind of cool quote that is actually about how we're the problem. We're hoarding these resources, and but let's see the way they put it, because instead of saying the future is here, it's just not very evenly distributed. They say the new reality is here. The new reality, not the future, the new reality. Okay. It's just not evenly distributed. You can see it everywhere across media, politics, education, and global affairs. New technologies and players are laying waste to incumbents and making possible new enterprises and ways of building. Political pressure and popular opinion are moving from stagnation to revolution, from doom loop to boom loop. Now, I don't agree. I don't know. Is that, we really feel like it's all these incumbents? I will remind people that the rate of startup businesses is lower than it was 50 years ago. It's been on a downward trajectory since then. People are opening less and less enterprises, as these losers call it.
No. I'm sorry. What these guys love is Elon Musk has taken control of Twitter. Who's one of the big backers of Musk's Twitter takeover is the fucking Saudi royal family, right?
Exactly.
So you want to talk about incumbents being knocked down? It's just the rebirth of royal power over society.
The Saudis went from the Line project to the boom loop. This is an incremental improvement. It's reality transformation. Now, let's just meditate on this a little bit, because I think the internet has been pretty crazy. I remember pre-computers, all that shit. I was born in 1988. Does anybody that just generally speaking, not anybody in particular, but generally the general people that are they retiring any earlier? Are their needs covered any better off before they were? No. The answer is no.
No. I mean, there's a whole guy who ran a political campaign on a message about this, about make America great again,
Yeah,
which
right.
implies that used
It
to be a lot
sucks.
better back in the day.
This promise has been nothing. What these people have delivered was surveillance for commerce that can be used for surveillance by the state in a pinch, right? As it has done against pro-Palestine protesters being pinged through their ad trackers. But okay, let's continue. But the old reality won't go without a fight. Now we're edging a little bit close to plagiarizing old what's his name from Italy, Gramsci, a little bit here. But the old reality won't go without a fight. Legacy organizations, which is a fun way of saying these are the capital organizations. but not the new ones, the startup ones that are backed by the Saudis or Peter Thiel, like or several guys who made money through PayPal. Um, Legacy organizations and personalities will try to write their privileges and cash flows into law faster than new reality technologies.
Ooh, and we love it when they capitalize a made up thing.
It means there's a concept out there you didn't know about. I'm sorry you didn't know about it, but we've been fucking capitalizing that shit. It's new reality technologies and founders. I love founders. Founders. If someone talks about founders as like people worthy of respect and not just the biggest galoot like morons of our age, like you found a winner. Um, New reality technologies and founders can overtake them. I need the founders overtake those legacy organizations. I just love when a founder overtakes a legacy organization. That
Hmm.
gets me super excited. Um, it's a it's a classic strategy employed by every guild and elite. It's interesting that they mentioned education earlier. I'll just say when we use a word like guild, but anyway, it will work until it doesn't. Tech will be at the center of the fight. The printing press didn't have a politics, but but printers, readers, and thinkers did. And today, after decades of pretending that Washington didn't exist, Silicon Valley has woken up to politics, recognized the stakes, and is playing to win. Like the printing press didn't have a politics. I mean, it was a massive democratization of the word.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, I
Turn,
fine if you
turn,
want to.
turning, turning turning the word of God in the Bible into something readable by everyday people. Definitely
Yeah,
didn't have some kind of politics imbued within it.
democratizing effect, as opposed to just let the people who have access to the scrolls interpret it for you. That's I don't know. I see politics there. These guys don't. That's okay. Um, uh,
They just haven't woken up to it yet, Matt.
okay, right.
They have to
Pretending
wait for the
Washington.
new reality 2.0.
I glossed over this, but pretending Washington didn't exist. No, Silicon Valley was a key beneficiary of Washington policies with regard to the interest rate and quantitative easing on the banks.
And let's not forget fucking intellectual property. In
Of
fact,
course,
like Silicon Valley and like these little fiefdoms that these people are sitting upon would not exist without the heavy attention actually that all of these boys have been paying to Washington and the money that they have been paying to Washington for a really long time.
yeah. Here's something like I'm just vaguely confident about. There's about 1 million people within China who can steward these enterprises better than David Sachs or Jason Calacanis. And a
Yeah,
million,
yeah.
actually, I say that's a massive undershoot. Actually, it's probably undershooting for America too. Um, okay, so let's see here. Silicon Valley has woken up to politics, recognizes the stakes, and is playing to win. How will new media enterprises? It's never like worker owned or independent media. It's new media enterprises reshape political coalitions. Will defense startups defense that this is the problem with defense contractors is they have any kind of public oversight. Will defense startups unseat bloated legacy contractors? Can we bulldoze the obstacle? And which I know Paris Marx has made a pivot, like talking. Let's stop talking about like the bullshit crypto AI stuff, but start talking about how these companies are angling for defense contracts. I mean, of course, Elon Musk being a primary
Mhm.
beneficiary of Pentagon contracts.
Well, did you
Can we?
see? Mm.
Yeah. What you gonna say?
I mean, did you see the way Elon Musk was like talking about Lula, about this X thing, about how you know he said we are going to seize like government assets of Brazil.
Yeah, so that what was funny about that is like he's clearly like trying to say me too. Like,
Yeah.
can you seize it for me too, Joe? And if you don't do it, he's gonna make some kind of stink about like, why didn't we get our assets? Why don't we seize assets for us now? How will new media enterprise reshape political coalitions? Will defense startups unseat bloated legacy contracts? Man, I can't wait to find out who's giving Israel,
Mm.
new child killing technology. Can we bulldoze the obstacles? Funny to mention Israel and then say, can we bulldoze the obstacles to a brighter
Yeah.
future with like Palestinians? To achieve that future, American will need Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley will need its window into Washington
Oh
if a
my
new
god.
reality is dawning.
So are these real guys? Who are these guys?
This is Teal and Teal's
Oh,
people, and
they're having a conference.
yeah,
Um, oh, okay. So this is just like the nerds who keep on trying to run for office and getting the shit beat out of them, because because the guys that they put up to be the tribunes of the American people just sort of come off as slimy little lizard folk.
yeah. I don't know if Blake Masters is going to make an appearance. It might be like they're carrying Peter's bags. I did have a tweet that was pissing people off, or actually, kind of making a lot of people happy. I guess I don't need to over sensationalize it. Um, but I did. I'm sorry if this, but
Matt, your tweets make me happy.
so
Jesus Christ. Well, you got to zoom it out a little bit. Let's see if I'll make it larger for everybody.
I have two pictures of JD and Blake Masters there, and I captioned it, "Hi, I'm one of the primary male assets in Peter Thiel's collection, and I'm here to model heterosexual masculinity for you." I just think it's just very strange to me. I don't know. Being like a venture capital guy, like, and you're gonna come around here
It's
telling you how to like provide for a family. You fucking parasite. Are you kidding me?
so. I mean, it's getting out of control. That kind of right wing. This attempt by the guys from the outside to try to capitalize on a probably existing population that is like prime for some kind of like hyper masculine right wing psychopolitics, right? But
Yeah,
they just like they're not disciplined enough to do it, so they keep on being like, "Oh, football is evil now, and beer is gay." Uh,
yeah. No, the closest they can get is to somebody who played it on TV, which is why Trump is currently the guy, and there's really no one else on the horizon.
so not to take us out of the doom and boom. Have you read this piece yet, Matt? There's a really good piece in Damage Magazine by Sam Chris that just they published recently, and I'm not going to read through it for everybody here, but I highly suggest it. How the online right fell apart, and it's very much about this kind of shit, and how how we think of our side is sort of like, oh, we got too many divisions and crazy stuff. The right
Right.
is like even more nuts. But the funniest thing is, I'll just look at some of the highlights here. But Sam Chris put together this helpful chart of the online right, that the corners are obsessed with race, obsessed with sex on two polar opposites, and then prudish versus ironic. Um,
Oh, I love the most prudish and most obsessed with sex one, because that's that. What is it? Whatever
The
podcast.
Whatever podcast, also like right wing Marxists leading the workers in revolt against the feminized HR class.
Damn.
Um, no, it's pretty strong. Uh, uh, Bronze Age pervert and his master race of pudgy GOP interns. Anyway, it's a very good piece about the kind of weird perversions of the far right, which I hope that their conference goes really well. I hope that they could convince the Republican Party to really lean into the uh, unsatisfied, repressed sexual desires of Silicon
Right.
Valley founders. I think they
Founders.
should run a they should really lean into that. I think JD Vance has really opened up a lot of space in American politics for a bold new vision for the new reality. And I think the more the merrier. Let's. I can't wait to see the next fella y'all pull out of the tank. Um, that you've been loading up with this new reality to bring us into the future.
The new reality. Maybe we should rebrand our podcast The New Reality with David and Matt.
Let's do it. I'm down. Also, like the funniest thing about this is that like they're copying other shit. So like that kind of like neo retro like art style was like really popular with like actual cool people and like artists and like influencers
Right.
like in the 2010s. Do you know what I mean? That
Right.
kind of like, oh, return to the founding days of the internet, kind of like, oh, this website looks like shit. It's like, oh, that means it's an actual like good like artist collective or something like that. So they're like, 14 years too late on that with this like return to the matrix thing. I mean, for guys who are supposed to have their finger on the pulse of stuff, aesthetically, they're behind.
Well, that's what I'm saying with the copycat thing. Like they can't produce anything original. It's
Mhm.
almost like scary. Like it's all like, can we reproduce something where people won't recognize it? But even that, the two main ideas in the thing, the unevenly distributed new reality from William Gibson and struggling to be born, like again, that feels like Ramsey. Like
Mhm.
honest, they might have
Quote that's
got that from
overused, by the way.
right, right.
If you write a really good essay, you have permission to do it once in your life. Some people fucking have used that on their blog probably 10, 15 times.
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
been struggling. It's a
It's a
long
cool
birth pain.
yeah.